landed a few minutes ago. The team is already at the hotel. It took us 2 hours and a half from Barcelona to reach Liverpool, and as I said, the team is already resting here at the hotel. Meanwhile, I've asked some people what their favorite things about Liverpool, and here's what they said. First thing, the most repeated answer, that it's the Beatles' birthplace. There is only one thing that's more famous from Liverpool than its football club, and that's obviously the Beatles, the band that changed music history forever. John, Paul, George and Ringo had their big break here on Matthew Street, especially at the Cabin Club. Was demolished in the 70s and rebuilt and reopened in the 90s. If you want to see a recreation of how the Cabin Club was when the Beatles performed their more than 90 gigs in less than 3 years, you can see that at the Beatles Story exhibition. The coolest thing about this exhibition is that it's actually like immersive. It's not like the traditional museum where you can see stuff. Everything's been rebuilt. For example, this is a recreation of the first plane that carried the Beatles to the US. This is the last piano that John Lennon ever owned. Plus he played it the day of his death, the day he was killed. Just imagine the value of this instrument. In Liverpool, the Beatles are basically everywhere. Like for example, this sculpture depicting the 4 Beatles walking on the Merseyside was given to the city by the Cabin Club, and it's definitely not the only sculpture, the only statue that you can find about the Beatles or related to the Beatles here in Liverpool. Back on Matthew Street, next to the Cabin Club, is another statue dedicated to the Beatles. And finally, the Eleanor Rigby statue, all the lonely people from the album Revolver. If you are in Liverpool and love sport, you can definitely not miss Anfield. Anfield! If you are a Barca fan, you of course know that Liverpool is from Liverpool City, but did you know that it is not the only team from here, from Liverpool? Everton Stadium is only 1 mile away from here. It is just across the Stanley Park. So this is Anfield, the 1-century-old stadium where Liverpool plays and Everton played for many years too. I'm leaving you a card right here with a full tour of the stadium, but let me quickly show you some parts of where we're going to play tomorrow night. Some people told me that their favorite spot in Liverpool, the one that they find the most beautiful, is the Royal Albert Dock. This is the Royal Albert Dock, and it's a part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site because of the importance that it had during the growth of the British Empire. Since then, it's become one of the most visited places in the UK thanks to all the possibilities that it has to offer with restaurants and bars and a lot of attractions, especially museums and galleries like this one. The Merseyside Maritime Museum, the Museum of Liverpool, Tate, an art museum with, for example, Picasso's or Cézanne's work of art. So yeah, the Royal Albert Dock, definitely a place to come when the sun is shining, when the weather's nice. And finally, a thing that most tourists find really attractive and really appealing from Liverpool is the fact that it's got 2 cathedrals, and it's one of the only cities in the world to have so. Yep, very cool thing. Liverpool is one of the only cities in the world that's got 2 cathedrals, not 1, but 2 cathedrals. And they are located in the same street, in the Hope Street. No wonder why they picked this name for this street. Hope Street is bounded by the 2 cathedrals, the Liverpool Cathedral and the Metropolitan Cathedral. The 2 cathedrals are pretty different, so let's head in the first place to the Liverpool Cathedral. As you can see, it's an Anglican cathedral. It's the biggest one in Britain, and it took 74 years to be fully built. This is not the only cathedral in Liverpool. There is the Metropolitan Cathedral. Let's head there to compare. Very different. This is the Metropolitan Cathedral of Christ the King, and it looks nothing like a cathedral. To start with, you can see it's got a circular shape. So the cathedral was not designed this way originally. It was due to have the classic neo-Anglican style of cathedrals. But at some point, because of the pressures of war and the costs, the original design was abandoned and they came up with this, which I personally like very much. I had never seen a cathedral like this one. This is what it looks like from the inside, but check out from the outside, it's even more mind-blowing. This could be an arena, an art gallery or museum, but I would never have thought that this was a cathedral. And that's the view you get from the Metropolitan Cathedral, and you're able to see the Liverpool Cathedral from here. That's Hope Street. So if you enjoyed this video and you're excited for the game, don't forget to give this video a like, to give it a thumbs up, and to not miss any of our contents. To avoid so, just subscribe to our YouTube channel here, because there are a lot of behind the scenes and inside views of the Champions League game coming up. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.